Yeah, today we have special guest here. Yeah, please introduce yourself.
My name's Sveta. I'm from Russia. I came here to learn Chinese international studies.
Oh, that's cool. And this is Alex from Australia.
Yeah. Hi.
So why do you want to learn Chinese Mandarin?
I honestly hope to have better opportunities in jobs. I want to work possibly with international relations, Southeast Asia and Australia. I think there's quite a lot of opportunities there in terms of trade, political, economical relations. Probably help with that.
So far, how long have you learned Chinese?
It's a bit complicated because I lived there when I was a little kid, and then I learned it in high school, and I want to continue it here. But it's been a bit of a journey since I had to learn English as well.
Oh, so where did you live in?
Chongqing.
Chongqing.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can speak Chongqing dialect,
I
they have
vaguely-
Chongqing Hua.
Vaguely remember it, but no, I speak 标准普通话。
标准普通话. Wow. So we can switch to Chinese now.
Yeah.
Wow. 那你觉得学中文最难的部分是什么？
最难的是写作。
writing.
写作最难的，因为中文的 characters， 他们比俄语和英语的写作太不一样。
对。
因为我们有 alphabet， 在中国你们没有。
对，每个字都是独立的，
对，
就是你要重新学一个新的字，非常的困难。哇，那你来到澳洲之后，为什么会想来澳洲？
因为是很好的工作嘛，父母找很好的工作在澳洲，所以我们现在住在澳洲。
哇，那你比较喜欢住在澳洲还是住在重庆？
重庆，我的爸爸是在重庆是一个大学的老师，可是因为他在澳洲找很好的工作，所以我们搬
来澳洲。
对。
哇，那你觉得在澳洲生活比较方便吗？ Is it more convenient to live in Western country?
对，多方便。
Not in 重庆。
重庆，因为我的父母他们不说中文，所以我是他们的 translator。因为我5岁的时候，我上一个中国的小学，所以我学中文，我应该帮助他们和他们的朋友一起聊天，可是很难，因为我是很小的孩子，所以对。
所以你说你住在中国多久
2个年。
Only 2 years， 2年。可是你的中文真的很流利耶。
真的吗？
说的真的太好。
我不知道。
哇，所以你未来会想要住在哪里？就是你想要做什么样的工作？
工作我不太确定我要什么工作。
可能当翻译，或者是当外交官 （diplomat）， 或者是。
也觉得 diplomat 是很好的工作，有很多机会。现在对。
那你住在澳洲多久？
Almost 10 years， 10年。
10年。
对。
Wow, it's very cool. You can speak so many different languages.
I try to balance them a little bit somehow.
Wow, but won't you forget some language sometimes?
Yes, I used to speak Chinese more or less fluently when I was a little kid. So I spoke Chinese and Russian, and they were both my languages. And then when I moved here, English became my main language. 现在英语是我的母语，因为我英语说得很流利。
Super fluent.
对。
Wow, and how about Alex? Why do you want to learn Chinese?
因为我完全同意跟Sveta 同意，有很多机会。我也觉得我对语言感兴趣，我也会法语说的流利。
对。
我的法语比我国语好。虽然学中文是一个很困难的事情。
哇，
很花时间。
对，很花时间。那你最喜欢的中国菜是什么？
面。
你喜欢吃面？牛肉面或者是？
牛肉面 牛肉面是我最喜欢的。
重庆最有名的是火锅。
火锅，对对对，
Hot pot
我很喜欢火锅，因为我从小吃很 spicy 的菜，
对，很辣，对。
现在我最喜欢的菜是spicy。
那在澳洲你会常常去可能 Chinatown 或者是去那边吃饭吗？
I don't go that often. I don't think there's as many, I guess, like real Chinese stores. A lot of them may be like westernized. It's quite hard to find like a genuine. Yeah. I kind of miss it though.
那如果未来有机会，你会想要交中国男朋友，可以更练习中文？
可以。
可以。对，你有什么问题？
我不要找到男友没有兴趣。但是在布里斯本有一个很大唐人街 like Chinatown，在 Sunny Bank，你去过吗？
去过，也 Fortitude Valley 他们也有。
也有。Fortitude Valley 以前是一个唐人街，在市中心的附近。Fortitude Valley 是一个比较派
对的场所地方。
对。
那你在 maybe Brisbane， 你最喜欢去哪里？你很常去 party 吗？你很少。那你的 hobby， 你的兴趣是什么？
兴趣学习。
学习。学习语言或者是学习什么？中文。
中文，历史和国际关系是我最喜欢的课。
So what is the biggest cultural shock you had when you live in China?
In China, what was the biggest shock in China? I think I was too young to really process, but I think maybe the fact that I was like the only 外国人，在我的学校我是只一个外国人，所以。
Then you must be super popular. Everybody want to be your friends.
可是我不明白为什么很多孩子喜欢和我聊天，因为我不明白我是一个外国人。Because I was too young, so I didn't understand that I was different. So when they talked to me, I was like, oh, okay. I just didn't notice.
So could you give people any suggestions if we want to make friends with Russian people? How can we impress them? Like,
how can you impress them?
Like be their good friends. Should we drink maybe vodka with them or?
I'm not the person to ask. I've never had it, but I think in our culture it's very, I guess we're a bit less emotional than you'd expect. So we grew up, smiling isn't very common. It's actually seen quite rude. If you're walking in the street, if you smile at someone and say hi, it's a bit strange because they're usually quite reserved. So I guess maybe a bit more of like a mutual tone with them, but most of them are quite friendly, I think. Especially if you go like here and you find someone who's like Russian, maybe struggling with English, I think they'd be very happy to make friends with someone. I'm not quite sure how it's like now, but most would be quite keen. Yeah.
So maybe when Russian people take photos, what pose, gestures do they do? Do they do like this? Or?
I think they just, I honestly don't quite know. I think they just do like a thumbs up or something. I don't think there's a very specific one we do. I know like in Asia you guys have like very specific maybe poses, but.
So where do you live in Russia?
Vladivostok, 海参崴。
海参崴。
对，海参崴。
That's cool. Is it very far from Moscow?
Australia is closer to us than Moscow. So it's very, very far away. We're from the far, far east part. So we have a lot of more Asian culture. We had a lot of Korean culture there, Chinese culture. So you'd have people speaking Chinese in our city as well. Because it was quite interconnected. So cool. Yeah, but it was very non-Westernized. So I think China was less of a culture shock. Australia was, I think, the biggest culture shock for me. Because even though I look more Western, I just wasn't used to the culture. So when I came here, I was like, oh, it's very different.
Wow. So far, what's your maybe favorite part about Australia?
Oh, definitely like just the climate, the nature. I'm not a big fan of the weather, the 40 degrees. Not a huge fan of, but the nature here is amazing because like all the other cities I lived in, so they're, urban, big buildings, concrete jungles. Here, there's like trees everywhere. You get like different flowers blooming all year round. It's impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd never really seen a city. It kind of looks just like a botanical garden within a little city. It was very surprising to me.
Wow, that's so cool. And in the future, if you can travel to any place in the world, where would you like to travel next?
Next, I traveled quite a lot when I was younger, so I'm not sure where I would travel next. I've never been to Europe, but I think I just prefer Asia because I just live closer to there. I speak Chinese. I think I'd like to explore China more as like an adult now. Because when I was a kid, I went around a lot of places, but I just don't quite remember it as well. I think now I can have like opportunity to independently explore it.
Oh, I see.
And I agree as well. Exploring China would be so interesting. I think especially because if you don't have Chinese if you don't speak Chinese at all, I think probably traveling in lots of places in China would be very difficult. Only like this big cities, okay, you can use English, but even if you want to get to like the Great Wall or something, I think it's pretty hard.
It'd be a struggle.
Yeah, just to navigate.
So do you think in the future will you live in maybe mainland China or any Chinese-speaking country?
I think I would like to, yes. At least study there for at least like a semester, maybe live there for a little bit. If a job allows me to, I'd be quite happy to travel back and forth and just, have the opportunity to live there, work there with the language. It'd probably be a lot easier if you immerse yourself in the actual culture.
That's so great. And since you speak so many languages, so can you share any tips how to
Yes.
fluent in speaking, especially?
I think the best way, so for me, English, I started learning English when I was about 8. I didn't know anything. I had to start from the alphabet, the ABCs. I think the biggest part was like immersing yourself fully in the language. So the music I listened to was English, the books I read was English, everyone around me spoke English, and I guess I was like a younger kid, so it was a bit easier, but like all the media I consumed was just in English. So any video I watched, you'd have like maybe subtitles on, but it'd all be there, and it'd sort of force you to adopt that language because you have no other way out. Because if you still have like your native language there as like, I guess a step up, it's like there to support you, you'll fall back on your native language. But if you just have, you jump straight in and there's just nothing there for you to latch onto, you'll start picking up a language a lot quicker. But I guess it's like quite stressful to even do that.
Yeah, I see. Oh, so if one day you have child, what language will you ask them to learn?
Honestly, I'd probably get them to learn at least a little bit of each because I think it's quite good for kids to learn that young. I mean, I was like 5 when I started becoming bilingual, and it wasn't too difficult for me because I think like in kids' brains, it's still like very easy to develop it.
So maybe in the future, would you like to learn new languages?
Yeah, definitely.
Or
Yeah.
what language would you like to learn?
Probably like German. I was really keen on German. I think I tried learning it a little bit, but I had to focus on Chinese. You can pick up on 2 languages at the same time.
Yeah, so could you teach us any maybe Russian?
Any
like
Russian?
Introduce ourselves.
Introduce yourselves.
And we want to make friends with you.
Okay. I mean, the very basic is just привет.
Привет.
Привет is just hello. That's like a very casual way of saying it. Don't use the formal ones because I think it's a bit too much. It's a bit too difficult to pronounce. Привет.
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 Yeah. And if you want to introduce yourself, you say меня зовут.
Меня зовут?
Yeah, and then just say your name.
Oh.
But a lot of Russian speakers, we don't actually say my name is. We sometimes just say я and a name. But if you want to be a bit more polite, a bit more formal, меня зовут.
Oh, меня зовут.
And if you want to say like I want to become friends, я хочу подружить с вами.
Я хочу
Подружить с вами.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's like, I want to be friends with you, and it's like a very formal, polite way of like, I guess saying, hey, I'd like to make your acquaintances, essentially.
Oh, yeah, спасибо.
Не за что.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for your
All good.
time and sharing all the great experience.
Yeah, all good.
Yay.
Hope it helps someone.